Hi there, I'm Miriam and welcome to Miriam's Manor. Thank you guys again for joining me for another weekly recap. So this week's videos, we have two videos to review: the harvest and garden tour that I posted at the beginning of last week, and then of course our Christmas Village contest announcement. There were some really good questions regarding some of the category roles that I'm going to answer live for you guys all, but I'm going to cover that video second. Before we get started on both recap videos, I do want to remind you guys that if you would like to email me at miriamsmanor@gmail.com, listed below, your pictures of your Christmas in July celebrations, I will gather those all up and put a video together so we can all celebrate Christmas in July with each other. Don't forget to leave me your names as you would like me to show them on the screen, because I absolutely will list your name and then of course what state or country that you are from. So I do have 3 submissions so far. If you guys can all make sure you submit that to me by like July 20th, and then I'll be compiling the video for whatever is sent to me by that date, July 20th of 2022. So let's go ahead and jump into the first questions, comments, feedback from the video of my garden harvest. D. Sarge says, wow, we do not get tomatoes until August here in Northeast Ohio, which is crazy because it seems like that would be such a short growing season, because I know in Ohio you guys get snow there, if I'm thinking correctly. And it's so when do your frost temperatures hit? It seems like such a short growing season if you don't get tomatoes until August. It seems like that might give you what, September, October, like 2 months before it gets too cold. D, I feel for you on that one. Shantae Brown says, you have such a green thumb, Miriam. I killed my artificial plants. Shantae, you are hilarious. I do have to say, you guys, this was not without trial and error and then reading and learning. The first 2 seasons that I gardened, the spring and the fall of that year, I literally killed everything that I planted, and I'm not exaggerating. I harvested 1 tomato, which was about that big, and it was supposed to be a regular sized tomato, and it ended up the size of a cherry tomato. And then I realized there must be something I'm doing wrong, so I decided to read. And then I learned about the different growing zones as well as what to plant in the right season. Not all crops are fall crops or summer crops or spring crops. You really do have to plant the right things in the right season to yield a harvest. So that was lesson number 1 for me. And then secondly, learning my specific climate. Exactly. I'm in a zone 9B, but I have extremely hot heat. We have 0 cloud cover during our summer months. So even other zone 9Bs that are in like Southern California, they're technically zone 9B like we are, but we still can't grow the same things. So then even dialing it in that much tighter and doing a more specific search for my specific zone 9B Arizona desert heat. So for those of you who are getting started, I would definitely say research your particular area and what grows well, not just in your zone that's categorized from state to state, but also for your state zone, and get state specific to have successful harvests. At Home with Cherie says, the animals are so ridiculous. I think she's referring to when I showed you guys the bunny that ate half the tomato and left the other half on the vine. She says, if you're gonna steal food, at least eat the whole thing. But you harvested some beautiful garden fresh aphids. Probably referring to my aphid problem. Though Cherie, I did not harvest aphids, even though I do have aphids on some of my plants. All of the vegetables that I did harvest that were in my bowl that day were fresh and bug free. And she says, I hope you can get your aphid problem under control. Happy gardening. Thank you very much. Rebecca Ferguson says, your garden is greener than mine. And says, aw, because of the cute little rabbits. The rabbits are super cute, you guys, that invaded my garden. I love little creatures and animals. I don't even mind them harvesting from my plants, honestly, because I do produce enough that we can all share. What I have a problem with is they burrowed in my beds, which completely ate up a ton of the root system for my banana pepper plant and 3 of my scallop squash plants. That's where it becomes problematic, because if you kill the root system, you kill the plant, and then none of us can eat. So cute little bunnies, stay out of my beds. Eat the food, but stay out of the beds. And I have birds that even eat my tomatoes too on the vine. And like I said, I see little beak holes in my tomatoes quite often. But again, I produce so much, it's really not a big deal. I typically never cage or net any of my produce that I grow, because everybody's got to eat too. But I will when they're babies, so it gives them a chance to grow up, and then we can all eat off of it. But yeah, they are so cute. If you guys did not see, you can follow me on Instagram, and I did put a video on Instagram of the rabbits that are actually in my backyard if you want to see them. They're the cute tiny ones that only grow like that big. They're really super cute, but we have a whole family of them that have burrowed underneath a trailer in our yard. So we might have to remedy this problem somewhat soon. Veronica Val said, for aphids, you can buy ladybugs at a plant nursery. Ladybugs eat the aphids, just a natural way of getting rid of the aphids. If you do, make sure you release the ladybugs in the evening. But so far, your garden looks awesome. Thank you so much, Veronica. And you guys, I actually did buy 2 different rounds of ladybugs trying to control the problem. Maybe when I purchased them, because I bought them in the springtime, but I really didn't have a ton of like insect issues in my garden. I was trying to buy them as a preventative method just going forward, because I knew our temperatures were warming, and that's when the aphids come, is when the heat comes. So I really didn't have a terrible like infestation at all at that time, and maybe that's why they all flew away. They did not stay. I did try ladybugs last year, and then I tried them again this spring. The problem in Arizona is the nurseries don't sell ladybugs in our area once the temperatures get above like 90 to 95. So they're not available for purchase anymore once the aphids actually come and when I really need them. And so it's one of those catch-22 situations. So one of the things that do work in our area that can live in our area are praying mantis. Now, they are not the prettiest things to stumble upon when I'm working out in my garden, which is why I didn't buy them before, but they can tolerate our heat. So I'm thinking about going back and getting some praying mantis eggs and letting those hatch in the garden, because they do also eat the aphids. But I don't know. We'll see how it turns out, you guys, and hopefully all will be well. D. Sarge says, Miriam, have you ever tried 7? We use the powder and have to reapply after a rain, but it does the trick. I had never actually heard of 7D, but I did look it up when you sent this to me. It did say that it doesn't soak into the vegetables, but my entire garden is an organic garden. And I know that that does have a chemical base to it. So I'm going to try to use some other methods first before introducing a chemical into my garden bed. Even though it doesn't soak into the vegetables, my kids go back and harvest from my garden quite a bit, even when I'm not there. So I have never trained them to be cautious of like, don't eat that if you see like the powdery white stuff on it, or they touch the leaves and things like that. So even just for their safety, I try to just stick to products that if they touch it, it's not going to harm their skin, it's not toxic to their skin, and obviously if they ingest it, that they will be perfectly fine. Beachcomber D says, nice harvest. That is a lot of banana peppers. I bought a jar of pickled banana peppers. They are so good. You wouldn't think you would get a powdery mildew in your climate. I get powdery mildew leaves and aphids on my roses in my coastal climate. Yes and yes, I had a fantastic banana pepper harvest. My banana pepper harvest is quite insane. I need to learn how to jar them and pickle them because I actually really enjoy them that way as well. And I just haven't looked up a recipe on how to do it yet, but that is in the near future. But the powdery mildew, you guys, I think my problem is the irrigation system that I ran. My sprinklers sit high above the soil level and it sprays my plants. And although I do water in the coolest part of the day, which is best for my climate, it's just not drying up fast enough and the leaves are staying too wet. And all of us who garden know you shouldn't get your leaves wet when you're gardening, whether it's flowers or produce. So I have recently found a grid system that waters all at soil level that I think I am going to implement this fall when I go to sow my seed in the fall. I think this will really help my powdery mildew problem. And because really, truly in my climate, I really shouldn't be suffering from a ton of powdery mildew. So I need to make that adjustment and correct my watering system. This was the first full year that I've had this irrigation system in my garden beds. Prior to that, I hand watered my garden every day, which was awesome and I thoroughly enjoyed because I was able to give each plant the water that it needed and not overwater or underwater. But I was also able to control where the water actually landed and not allowing splashback and things like that. So that is definitely the benefit to hand watering your garden. My little loose sprinkler systems that just spin, they just cast way too much water on my canopy of leaves. So I'm going to correct that issue and I'll pop a picture up of the grid system that I'm going to be purchasing, and I will follow back up with you guys and let you know how it actually does turn out for me. I start fall gardening a little bit later in the season than some of you because our summers stretch so long. So our fall typically doesn't start until like late October weather, but I will begin to sow my seeds in September-ish and prep my beds at that same time. So when I go to install all of that, I'll definitely show you guys what I'm putting in, how it works, and the ease of use of the system. It's supposed to be super simple and easy, so we shall see. Robin Wright says, to discourage pesky rabbits, try dusting your plants with plain talcum powder. Since rabbits are such great sniffers, powdered red pepper sprinkled around the garden or on targeted plants may keep them out. Someone actually left me that comment, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, and I did try the black pepper and I think it is helping. I didn't use the red pepper, but I did use just regular plain black pepper. And I also cut the canopies up so that they can't hop into my actual beds. You guys, the bunnies that are in our community are tiny little ones. They really can't hop unless there's something for them to hop onto. I had so much foliage growing over on the side of my beds that they were just hopping onto the foliage into the beds, I think is what was happening, and then burrowing inside of the beds once they got in. So now that I've been really intentional about keeping all of the overgrown greenery sheared up on the sides, I have not had any more burrows, and I did also sprinkle the pepper around the edges as well. And so far, so good with the rabbits. So I'm really hoping that that does keep them away. If not, I'll be buying some talcum powder. Rose Lazi says, I'm looking forward to our summer here in Australia so I can start my beautiful garden like yours. The prices of vegetables here are so ridiculous. I'm eager to get a garden going. Hope the neem oil works for those aphids. Thank you so much, Rose. Me too. I have not been home, you guys. I'm still out of town. I will actually be headed home in a couple of days. It's kind of nerve-wracking to leave my garden for 2 weeks. And this is the first time that I've actually left it for so long. So I'm very curious to see what I'm actually going home to. So I'm hoping that what I've done has kind of at least put a hold on it, if not stopped it altogether, but we'll see once I can actually make it back home to check out my garden. Lloyd G says, hi Miriam, finally got around to watching this video. Despite the trials you're having with your garden, you have quite the harvest. I got my first round of zucchini early last week and picked another one tonight. I also got a few jalapenos with more growing on the plant. My basil isn't looking the best, but I'm still picking off leaves. I thought my bell pepper plant had given up, but it's still hanging on. The cherry tomatoes are growing, but still green. Mom has gotten a few tomatoes off of her plant, and yellow squash are not being cooperative. The squash are appearing to grow, but not in any decent size. I asked her if they were miniature squash. Haha, always enjoy your videos. All the best to you and yours. Thank you so much, Lloyd. And yes, even with all of the problems of my summer garden, I still am producing a good amount of fruit, which is really exciting. The other thing is, it's par for the course. Summer gardening produces the worst pests in my region. And it's just one of those things that you just kind of brace and get ready for because you know that it's coming. So I try to delay it as long as I possibly can so that I can extend my harvest time, because as soon as the cool weather comes, all of those little critters go away and I'm still able to produce all winter long. As a matter of fact, when I sow in the fall, I actually prefer to sow in the fall and harvest during the winter months because it's the best time of to garden in my particular climate. Everything grows beautifully, and that's when I can grow all of my different types of lettuces and beans and peas and all of those more tender type of plants. Those are the seasons that I can actually grow those in, and they thrive in my area. And I don't have to contend with the bugs because the weather is cooler. So it's actually, fall and winter is actually my favorite time to garden in Arizona where I live. One thing that I will have to say about the squash, if you're noticing that your squash are not performing to proper size, I'm wondering if it's just the ovary that you're seeing and it's an unpollinated fruit. I would be intentional about hand pollinating. Take that male flower and you can see the difference because the male flower behind the flower just has a straight stem. The female flower, directly behind the flower, you will see the fruit, the actual shape of the squash that will end up growing. So take a paintbrush and take pollen from the male flower and just put it and rub it all on the inside of that female flower and that little bulb area that's inside of the flower. Make sure that it's getting fully pollinated. If that is not your issue, I would say fertilize. I know for my squash plants anyway, I fertilize them at least once a month and give them some extra food. I use the Job's organic pre-mixture. Everything is already in it. I till the soil like an inch, the top inch or two layer of the soil. Spread the fertilizer on, cover it up and water it in, and stuff just starts producing like crazy. So hopefully one of those two things will work for Mom to get her squash plants really thriving and producing, because we are finally, and you guys are finally in your season, in your growing season there in Maryland, to be able to have bountiful harvest. So I hope that tip helps and works for you guys. Twinkie G says, I was wondering how your garden was coming along. I see you've had a little company in there. I just wanted to say that I think you're very brave to take on a garden. I am a country Arkansas girl, but I don't miss growing or harvesting. It was a way of life for me and my family. Your videos on gardening does bring back great memories though. You've done a great job with your garden. I do want to know how long will each of your plants produce, and have you had problems with snakes in your garden? Keep up the good work, sis. Thanks for sharing again. Stay blessed. Thank you so much, Twinkie. And my plants generally will last all year round. Some of them. So I have had tomato plants in the past that were 2 years old that survived every single season, that produced for me like 11 months out of the year. The hottest month, or sometimes 2 months out of the year, the flowers will stop production, but the plant will still live and thrive. So it's just a matter of keeping it watered consistently at the same rate that it's used to being watered at. And then as soon as the weather dips back down a little bit at around like 100, the flowers will come back into bloom and start producing fruit again. So I usually do a clean out every year of each of my garden beds. With that being said, I pull everything out. Even some of the plants that I'm keeping, I just pull out enough of the root ball to transplant it in another garden space, because I do like to rotate my crops. But I pull everything out of the beds a lot of the time so that I can thoroughly till the soil and amend the soil at least once a year, so that I'm putting back all of the nutrients that those plants are taking out during those growing seasons. And I go pretty deep. So I will till the soil down about a foot or two, like in my bigger bed in the back, and layer in compost as well as fertilizer, some soil acidifier for where I am going to be planting my tomatoes. And then I also put throughout the entire bed bone meal and blood meal, and I have a ratio. I do have a video on that of showing how I do my mixture when I fertilize, and some gypsum. And so I mix all of that together and then make sure I amend the soils, and also add additional soil for when the soil begins to settle. As you guys know who garden, you always are going to have settling issues in your bed. So I add back additional soil and then raise those levels back up and do a really good mix at least once a year. And then I put the plants back in. And so some of my plants, like the banana pepper plant at this point is that you guys saw me harvest from, is 1.5 years old. Some of my tomato plants, the Sicilian tomato plant is about, I want to say, 1 year old at this point. I took out a couple of my old ones last year. The mint that you see in the front of that bed is over 1 year old at this point. A lot of stuff will continue to thrive all year round here. We don't suffer from freezes very often. So when we have a cold snap for a night or two, I just cover my beds and they typically do fine, and uncovering in them. And then we get so much sunshine during the day that it just, even in the winter months, everything kind of just bounces back really nicely. I know some climates you guys have to like prune back hard your bell pepper plants. If you're in kind of a borderline climate where it's warm enough during the winter, do a hard prune back, protect it, and then it'll grow again in the spring. I don't even have to do that. I will cover them when I have a cold snap. And my bell pepper plant actually produces all year round. The bell pepper plant that you guys see in my garden bed is, I think, a little over 2 years old for that plant. So, and my whole garden basically is still a baby. My garden's only 3 years old. So, actually, I started gardening 3 years ago. Those beds are only a little over 2 years old. So some of the plants that you guys see in there are original plants that I've had that I've just moved around in different spaces of the bed. So that's the beautiful thing about Arizona, again, is for gardeners, we are limited on some of the crops we can grow, but there are so many beautiful crops that we can harvest from all year round. And we don't deal with snakes. At least I don't in my area. I do not live directly around a mountain. So I don't think I've ever even seen a snake in real life other than like at the zoo. So snakes are not something that we suffer from at all or ever in my garden space. And honestly, the wildlife that we have in our area, the only reason we have so much in our area is because we actually live across the street from a golf course. And the golf course has all the rabbits, the ducks, the gophers, and things like that. And they just kind of make their way over into our community. And so that's even the only reason that I'm dealing with rabbits, because usually in a regular suburb in Arizona, you don't have rabbits in our neighborhoods out here. It's literally because of the golf course across the street. So life is messy, but I'm learning as I grow says, I love your garden. Such a great inspiration to me as I am a garden and a YouTube creator. Also, you put a lot of work and love into growing your garden. All of your hard work is paying off. I still have so much to learn about gardening and I appreciate your tips and tricks. I love to learn more about gardening from each other. Happy harvest. Thank you so much. And from another gardener and YouTube content creator, you know the struggle is real. And so I so much appreciate your comment and your feedback. And y'all go check out her channel. I'll say it again. It's Life is Messy, but I'm learning as I grow. Yes, it very much is. It's a lot. Gardening is a lot of work, but it's definitely a source of pleasure for me. And I find joy in growing things and even just being able to feed my family from food that I know what has gone into it and how it's grown. But it just truly is like a peaceful thing for me. I love getting my hands dirty. I do not wear gloves when I garden because I actually love the feel of the earth in my hands. Eventually, maybe I should start because I'm ruining my nails. But I don't know, maybe one of these days I'll get used to wearing gloves, but I'm really just not used to it at all. And I feel like I'm still learning too. Like I said, I've only been gardening like 3 years and it's definitely still a process. There's a lot of stuff that I am still learning to do better as I am going, and what I will continue when I find a better solution, use that solution and implement it, and I hope for the best. So it's nice that we all can glean from one another and help each other and offer advice and best practices and tips and things like that. Okay, so that was all the comments from the harvest video, and now to the Christmas in July. You guys were just as excited as I was for this video. The feedback from those of you who left me comments already has been amazing, so thank you so much. I share in your excitement and in your enthusiasm. So Shirley loved the first comment saying she has an off-topic question. Which video was it that you demonstrated how to tint the realistic water with food coloring? I remember seeing it, but boy, I don't remember where. I do have a lot of Christmas Village videos at this point, but that tinting video, I did show it in the how to make a mountain video, and I believe it was somewhere around minute 28 in the video that I got to the food coloring with the realistic water. For those of you who are attempting this, I do want to remind you, never shake the realistic water in the bottle. You're going to end up with a big bubbly lake in the end if you do. When you add your food coloring, rock the bottle back and forth or pour the realistic water into a cup. Put the food coloring in that way. Typically 2 drops is enough, and gently stir to mix it a little bit faster, and then pour your mix. And then whatever you don't use in that cup, you can just pour back into the bottle. So D. Sarge says, oh boy, no pressure, LOL. She just talked to Pat yesterday regarding, Pat is the Hot Wire Foam Factory rep, so she must have been placing an order. And she says, Pat didn't say anything about it, so thank you for all your hard work. she was waiting for me to make the announcement before mentioning it. And also, just FYI, they are putting together a package, but if you guys have tools that might already be included in the package, if it's the same dollar value, they are willing to switch that particular piece out for another piece that you might not have. So don't be discouraged from buying stuff in advance, because they are going to work with the winner at the end, see what you already have, and then kind of amend the package from there. V. Segueris says, Hotwire Foam Factory tools. I would love to win this. Thank you, Lemax, eHobby, and Hotwire Foam Factory. And I was so thankful that they were so generous to participate in our Christmas Village contest this year. So Faye says, could you please show some examples of what Christmas in July theme is? Is it summer or winter themed? Is it patriotic or Christmas? Just curious. Faye, it is whatever you want it to be. I have seen people do 4th of July trees for their Christmas in July, which is a super cute idea. But I have also seen people do like their favorite sports team, regular Christmas decorations. It really just depends on what it is you want to do. My whole vibe in my house has still been very like white all year. I have not added a lot of color. When I get back home, I'll kind of show you guys through my great room space to show you kind of this vibe that I've just been on all year. So if I do put something up, it would probably be like an all white tree, just to kind of go with what I have in my house right now. So it doesn't have to be a particular theme. It's just whatever you want to do, whatever decorations that you have around. It doesn't even have to be a tree. You could do like some wreaths or a little small little village. Some of you have sent me pictures of your summer and spring villages, which are so super cute, and I can't wait to share them with everyone else. So it could even be something like that, and how decorations that you put up. So whatever your heart desires is what it should be. Shirley Edset says, so anxious to be a part of this year. The sponsors are so generous with their products. I really appreciate all the work you have done to make this so exciting for all of us in YouTube land. I do have a couple of questions about the Lemax sponsored category. Do trees and forest animals also need to be by Lemax? So I'm going to stop and just answer these questions before I keep going so I don't miss any of them. No, your trees and your forest animals do not need to be by Lemax. And let me say this so that everyone is clear and there's no confusion. If you are using buildings, your buildings must be Lemax. So you can have other accessories to add to your Lemax accessories in there as well. So if you have some Lemax accessories and you also have, if you're doing a vineyard scene and you have a Department 56, the little guy with the wine barrel, because it fits for that scene, you can use that as well. It's just that the majority of the buildings have to be Lemax, as well as the majority of your accessories. But everything else that you choose to add doesn't have to be. You can also have handmade items in there for those of you who hand make trees and different things like that. Or you have other brands of trees, you can definitely use those brands. It's just that the buildings and the majority of your figurines should be Lemax. If you are doing a park scene where you don't have any buildings, then the majority of your figurines and accessories should be Lemax. But it is okay if you pop in something from Walmart or Department 56, if you have Walmart trees that you're using, if you have handmade trees that you're using, that is perfectly fine. Shirley also, in a separate email other than this comment, asked if she could modify those Lemax pieces. Yes, 100%, absolutely. She wanted to know if she could paint the base of one of her hikers. Absolutely. I actually encourage everyone to paint their bases to match the landscape that it's actually sitting on. If you have a figurine on a gray base and you just put it on something that's on snow, paint the base of that white so that it blends better in your snow base, or vice versa. So that is absolutely okay if you want to modify any Lemax figurine. If you are using, if you're one of those who breaks pieces apart of buildings that are maybe from another Lemax building and you're using that actual broken piece of the building, perfectly okay as well. So I hope that brings some clarity to that particular category and answers that question. So Shirley also said, I can't seem to find the type of trees and animals I need that are the Lemax brand. I truly hope you are enjoying your time in Seattle area and loving the weather. If you go on ehobbytools.com and they do have a category that says figurines and animals, you can search through all of that, but you can also search through just the animal section because they do have quite a large variety of animals of different types you can buy. I know there's raccoons and bears and deer, squirrels, chickens. I have seen, I think, a ram and a goat. There's a ton of different types of animals that they do have if you are just looking to buy that particular brand. And thank you very much, Shirley. I am so enjoying this weather I've been back and forth between Seattle and Tacoma, and it is absolutely fantastic. The greenery here is amazing, and I have been so inspired to recreate some of the things that I have seen here that I did take a video of, and I'm going to be showing you guys in a separate video. So I'm so excited to show you the miniature version of what I'm going to be recreating from a real life area here in Tacoma that I was able to see. But it has been like between 60 and 75 degrees here. There have been a few days I have actually been cold because that's typically my winter weather. So I have been in a full out jacket and sweats some days, which is amazing to get such a break from that Arizona heat. When we go back, we're landing to about 112 degrees. So yay for me. Michelle with MD Wedding Planner says, great advice on capturing via video. Also mentioned to slow down the scanning of your village. Great tip, Michelle. Thank you so much for bringing this to all of our attention because I did not mention that. You guys, when you are scanning your village and you are moving fast like this, it is a little bit nauseating on the eye and it blurs your image. It's best to hold your camera as steady as possible and move very slowly back and forth like this so that you're not blurring any of your scene and we can actually see the fullness of the village or area of your village that you're trying to capture. Twinkie G says, hi Miriam, it's finally here and we are all so excited. You are looking cute today. Oh, thanks. I had my hair all braided up, y'all. Well, halfway braided up on the side anyway. I can see and hear how happy you are, how happy and excited you are. You smiled through the entire video. You have several necessary rules put in place for this year's contest. I know that I had no idea what I was doing in last year's contest because it was all new to me. I admit that I didn't understand all of the requirements. Let me just say that in this video alone, you have given out very specific details about the entries, categories, timing, and landscape mode, and what will get us disqualified. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that. If I myself forget something, I will come back to this video. Thank you for that. I'm sending a huge thank you to all the sponsors. That was so nice of them to do. Sis, you have really jumped off July with so much excitement and joy. Good luck to all of my fellow contestants and game on. All right, y'all. She is calling you guys to the carpet. She says, ready, set, go. Thanks for the opportunity again, Miriam. You are so sweet. Stay blessed and stay safe out there. Thank you so very much. I have been so excited to announce this contest. It has been so much fun to try to put this all together and working with our sponsors to get you guys some awesome gifts. I was chomping at the bit to announce this for like a month. So it was very exciting for me to finally be able to share the good news with all of you guys, because I'm so excited for what you can win this year. One of the things that I did not show yet are the trophies for this year. You guys, Robin Wright designed and made himself the trophies for the Christmas Village contest for this year. When I get home, they're actually home waiting for me. So I will show you guys in the next video, but they are absolutely darling. You are going to be so proud to display these trophies, because first of all, they're just so appropriate for the contest, but the detail and the creativity of his design, I could not be more pleased. So thank you so much, Robin, for taking care of that for me. And I cannot wait to show you guys what the trophies actually look like. I think you are gonna love them. So Lloyd G says, hi Miriam, the smile on your face said it all. You were just bursting with enthusiasm and your excitement radiated through the computer screen. Thanks guys. A huge thank you to Lemax, Hotwire Phone Factory, and eHobby Tools. I'm so happy that you've tightened up the contest rules for this year. You and Dewan went above and beyond last year and gave so much of yourselves. Hopefully this year you'll be able to sit back, relax, and take in all the beauty of the villages and scenes that are created. I am hoping for the same, Lloyd. True fact, it was so much putting the contest together last year and trying to organize everything. I went back after the fact and rewatched every single video and looked at everything. There were some that stood out to me at first as I was putting all of these together, but I actually popped popcorn one night, got my hot chocolate, and rewatched the videos after the whole contest was over, because I wanted to then go back and enjoy everyone's beautiful creations. And I felt like I was able to appreciate it a little bit more after the fact, being able to do that. So I do think with everything that we're implementing this year, I'll be able to thoroughly enjoy it a little bit more along the way, because that was my first year doing it and I didn't know what I was doing. As well as it all came together in the end, I just didn't realize putting the work that was going to be involved with putting a contest together on that scale. But now I am thoroughly prepared for what is to come, and have implemented a lot of things that will make that work, the upfront work, easy for me, that I can enjoy the process. So thank you so much for that. Lloyd finishes up by saying, hoping you are having an awesome time on vacation. Have you been taking pictures, getting inspired by your new surroundings? I look forward to hearing more about your time in Seattle and the surrounding areas. As always, all the best to you and yours. Thank you so much. I am having a fantastic time, and I have been getting so inspired. And I have so much video and pictures of even just normal stuff for me and my family, just my personal collection for my family vacation stuff. But I have also been taking a lot of videos so I can show you guys, because some of the stuff that I have seen here, you guys know how much I love creating landscapes. I have seen so many things that I want to do that I'm like, slow down, Miriam. But I think I may have also figured out about 70% of my village layout while I've been here as well, because I've been so inspired by things that I want to recreate. I started sketching stuff out while I've been in the hotel room with some downtime, and I think I may have a good portion of my village figured out. So we shall see. Anything can change once I get ready to actually put it up, but I have so many wonderful ideas at this point to work off of, so that's very exciting. Marina Rivera says, awesome prices. It's nice that all three companies decided to partner up. Thanks Lemax, Hotwire Phone Factory, and eHobby Tools. Susan Hawkins says, the contest sounds amazing and the sponsors are very generous. Your dedication to your channel is unmatched. Making videos while you're on vacation, that's unheard of. Good. Go ahead, honey. It's okay.
That came out of nowhere.
It's okay. I might leave that in. Did you guys hear my husband just coughing? And this is all a part of making videos on vacation.
Sorry, guys.
And it's so funny that I was literally reading your comment, Susan, when saying that, because we're all chilling here in the same room right now. They're just being so nice and actually being quiet while I sit in this corner and tape this video. So you might have heard a minute ago, my daughter came through and she's got beads in her hair right now, and her beads were a little like jingling, jangling sounding. So it's background noise. We're all on vacation together in the same area, so you're gonna get a little bit of that at times. But Susan goes on to say, good luck to all the contestants this year. I am new to this hobby, but I am having so much fun creating platforms and trees. I have even made some topiaries. Thanks so much for the inspiration. You are awesome. May the blessings of God continue to rest on you and your family. Thank you so much for all of your blessings, and thank you, Susan. I openly receive every blessing and prayer that you guys have for me, and I thank you so much for that. And thank you for the compliment. It's definitely, I do make the videos when I do have a little bit of downtime, when we're on vacation, when everybody's just kind of like hanging around and we don't really have any plans. I've been trying to utilize that time to get some of this stuff done for you guys. But I'm so glad to hear that you're having fun with your new hobby and that you are able to share that with all of us. And I'm so glad to hear that you tried the topiaries as well. I know that a few of you have sent me pictures of the lollipop topiaries that you have tried. Those are the ones with like the 3 balls. Nobody has tried the spiral ones yet. I know they seemed a little bit intimidating, but they're really not. Like, once you get the hang of it and you just keep going with it. So I hope one of you ends up trying it and sends me a picture of it. RB says, yay, we will be entering the contest again this year. Yes, I'd love to hear that. You may have covered this and we may have missed it. If you did, if we have 2 or 3 separate villages, can we submit a video for each in the Villager Extraordinaire category? Thank you so much, Miriam, for your joy you share. So we are only allowing 1 village per person for the Villager Extraordinaire category. 1 submission per person per category. Amanda Davis says, yay, so excited. Thank you, Miriam, and all of the sponsors. I can't wait to see what everyone comes up with this year. Me too. And with that being said, with what Amanda says, she can't wait to see what everyone comes up with. Even if you guys, some of you have made comments or sent me emails and made comments saying, like, you don't know if you're ready yet, or you don't know if your village is good enough yet. I just want to encourage you, submit it anyway, because a lot of the times we are such a big, happy family here. Yes, the entries will be judged in the end, but all of us just love to see what we all come up with. We love sharing our creative ideas on this platform and with this channel. And so I really want to encourage you, regardless of what stage that you're in, whether you're just beginning or if you are a seasoned villager, submit it anyway and allow others the opportunity to get inspired by what you do. Because that's the greatest joy of all of this, is gleaning inspiration from everyone else and picking apart things that we love that we can incorporate into our villages. Some of you who just got started villaging, you guys blew my mind last year, and there were things that I actually went out and bought already last year for my village for this year. So you never know who you can inspire and what idea that you have for your village that someone else will love and want to incorporate a piece of that into their village as well. So if you just think of it from that standpoint, not necessarily from the contest standpoint, but also just being able to share with our community, that is an awesome benefit that we all would very much appreciate, I'm sure. Diamira DeVries I'm sorry if I am saying your name wrong. She says, how amazing, and that I am giving all of you fair time to think and plan your villages. Because when I posted that video, you guys had 5 months to the day to plan your villages and begin the execution of those villages. So thank you. I thought that was a good amount of time as well. So hopefully everyone else will too, and be able to get everything wrapped up and completed. Shantae Brown says, OMG, amazing. Thank you to Lemax, Hotwire Phone Factory, and eHoppy Tools for their generosity. Thank you, Miriam, for this platform. I love being a part of this village community. Have fun and memorable time on vacation and be safe. Thank you so much. I absolutely am. Susan Molnar says, thank you to all the sponsors, Lemax, Hotwire Phone Factory, and eHoppy Tools. And thank you, Miriam, for all of your hard work. You have given us an abundance of information. Thank you for that. I really do try to, every time I am creating something or doing something new, to share it with you guys, just in case it might be something you love as well. Some of it might be mundane to some of you, or things that you've already tried, but you never know who's watching, and you never know who is getting started for the first time. Sometimes I do feel like I'm repeating the same things over and over again, but then I also do have to remember that I have a new audience and new people who are just hearing this for the first time. So for those of you who have been with me for a while, I hope that you can keep that in mind as well, that's sometimes why I will try to repeat myself with certain things that I feel are like village staples and the foundations of villaging for those who are just getting started or who are just tuning in and just finding my channel. So Maria Tavares says, happy Christmas in July, Miriam. I'm getting some nice figurines for my village. Can't wait to start decorating. I'm not ready for the contest, but I think it's going to be much better than previous years. Thanks to you. Aw, thanks, Maria. But again, I think that you are already ready, and just knowing what the pictures you sent last year and what you've done this year, I think you're more than ready. And I think you should go ahead and just let us glean from what you put together and just bless us with your submission. So Rose Lazzi says, oh wow, this sounds awesome. All 3 sponsors are so generous in their prizes. Thank you, Lemax, Hotwire Phone Factory, and eHoppy Tools. I'm sure whoever wins will be blessed with these. Good luck to whoever enters. Amen. Whoever does win is going to be so super excited to receive these packages. Paula Anderson says, oh, I'm so excited. This is my first year submitting. Thank you to Lemax, Hotwire, and eHoppy Tools for your generosity. Miriam, you look beautiful today. God bless you, Paula. Oh, thanks, Paula. Lucia D 2008 says, yay, let the fun begin. Thank you all for doing this. By the way, I love your hair. Thank you so much. Robin Wright says, beautiful presentation as always, so professional. Thank you to all the sponsors of this contest. I know this year will be the best yet. I agree. Start your engines, village builders. The competition and fun has begun again. Special thanks to Miriam for creating this contest. Her devotion and hard work. It was the highlight of my year in 2021. God bless you. Oh, Robin, thanks so much. That is so sweet. And you guys, I am so happy to do this and to be a part of this experience with you guys. If we all lived in the same state, could you imagine? We would be like a true Christmas town. We would be like a Hallmark movie. You guys, if you don't watch the Hallmark movies at Christmas time, watch one. There are towns in these Hallmark movies that are known for like their little Christmas towns. Wouldn't that be so awesome if all of us lived in the same space and we could create a true Christmas town? That would be absolutely fantastic. My husband's over there smiling like, oh boy, all of you guys in the same spot? I don't know about that.
No, I think that would be nice. That's not what I'm smiling. I just think that would be nice.
Oh, he's smiling because he thinks it could be nice in case you can't hear him from the camera. Becky Goutlet says, oh my goodness, I am so excited to build my Christmas village this year. This will be my second year doing a village. I have watched all of your videos and have been practicing building landscapes all year. Oh, that is so awesome, Becky. She says, thank you to all the sponsors for contributing prizes. Miriam, thank you for all the time you put into your videos and putting together this contest along with the judges. You are very welcome. And I know I speak on behalf of the judges by saying you are very welcome as well. And Love is Patient says, oh, this sounds fun. Can't wait to see all the great villages. Thanks to all the sponsors, great prizes. And thank you, Miriam, for all your hard work putting this together. And you guys, that was the last comment. You guys are so very welcome. Like I said, it is truly my pleasure to be able to bring you inspiration, to be able to operate in a gifting that I feel like the Lord has blessed me with, and to be able to share that and for it to be received by all of you is more than a blessing to me and more than what I can even express to you in words. And how you guys have received me in the way that you have. I thank you for it. I ask that the Lord bless you for it and that you can inspire someone in the same manner in the areas that He has blessed you with. So don't forget, there are about 77 or 78 videos and counting in my Christmas Village playlist. If you guys do not know, I have every video that I create goes into a playlist category, so it does make it easier for you to find. There are a ton of videos in my Christmas Village playlist that will help you along this way, especially for those of you who are just getting started. There's so much good information in there and tips that you can incorporate. Some that don't cost hardly anything at all. Some there might be a little bit more of a monetary investment with, but check it out and see what works for you. If you guys have any questions for me, definitely leave me a line in the comment section. I will get back with you. Give me a big thumbs up for this video. Hit that like button if you haven't done so already. And until I see you again, stay safe. God bless you, and I will see you soon. Bye.